Lalita ma'am, you will be able to unmute yourself.
Yeah. So far I was not able to.
Okay. Now give a try, ma'am. Lalita ma'am, now you will be able to do. Now. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. My bad.
Yeah. Sonal, our chairman also is here, Mr. Naidu.
Hi, good evening, Sonal.
Hello, sir. Pleasure to see you.
Yeah, after a long time, I think we met a year back.
Yes, sir.
Another 5 minutes to go.
Two minutes to go, team.
Yes.
1 minute to go.
We'll see the count, Subhi. Let us wait for a few more minutes.
All right.
Yeah. Little more may join. So let us wait.
45.
Yeah,
45.
let us wait till another 2-3 minutes.
There is one parent query. This is a program for parents, sir.
Yes.
Manish, I think he's for grade 10, ma'am. I think it may be useful for him too.
Yes.
Even students can join.
Yeah, students can also join. Why not?
Yes. They are going to be parents within a couple of years, maybe another decade.
We have, as of now, about 61 participants. I think we can start off, sir.
There are good number of parents who are watching on Facebook Live too.
Okay.
Let us start at 4:02.
All right.
All right.
Naidu sir, I request you to start the proceedings.
I think Lalita Madam will start, right?
Okay.
Good evening to all dear parents. Good evening to Chairman sir, Director sir, and Sonal ma'am, who has very kindly consented to come here and be a part of this program. We will be discussing with you all today about developing learning in virtual schooling. And this is so important for parents because parents will be evolved as co-creators or co-teachers in the whole learning process. So their involvement and their being a part of it is so very important. So let us learn a little more about conscious parenting from our chairman, Sri Naidu sir. Over to you, sir.
Yeah. Thank you, ma'am. Good evening, parents and students. A warm welcome to Rockwood's webinar on developing student learning in virtual schooling and evolving parental involvement. During the COVID-19 pandemic and bizarre instances, the entire family is staying in 24/7 at home because most of the parents are working from home and children are having homeschooling. I encourage you to participate in the discussion on conscious parenting with your 100% energy and focus. I would talk about changes required in our actions to shift from the traditional parenting paradigm to conscious parenting paradigm. As you observe in the slides, traditional parenting is taking the control of the child as if child is your property and acting with the mindset of I know. To state simple actions, correcting and controlling, mold children to deem to be good as per your understanding, disciplinary behavior with the rules and bribery, yelling and nagging. Now the time had come to unlearn a few bad practices in parenting and empty our mind so that we create space to fill the new thoughts and new paradigms. Conscious parenting is about shifting your role from disciplinarian parent to co-creator of boundaries. What are the boundaries? Creating boundaries is a process that allows parents to learn how to form mindful limits while teaching their children safety, respect, and responsibility. Parents do their best to provide protection and safety for their children with abundance, wholeness, and joy without any fear. The disciplinarian world style, the problem is not in the intention of the parent, the problem of discipline is execution. It's about our desire to fix. It's all about our approach to fixing. The traditional way suggests that we inflict some pain in order to make them understand and learn as if they only form pain, like yelling, screaming, and some sort of punishment. This is rooted in our belief system. We learn from our parents that pain will give you learning and people will learn from the pain. Discipline gives too much power to dominate another human being. The old disciplinarian style is autocratic style. This downright lazy parent does not require to do any active work. There is legitimate way of correcting our children. It involves the art of creating consciousness and setting the boundaries. Focus on disciplining ourselves first. We are co-contributors and co-creators of our child, not just the parents who direct, guide, and command them. Let us change our conscious boundaries. We need to learn to live in our own boundaries because boundaries can't be imposed. Boundaries are lived. All the boundaries start and end with the parents. Simply examine your boundaries, examine the motivations beneath the boundaries. You don't want to control your child. However, you control conditions around the child. Let us shift the focus to creating conscious conditions in the house. For example, you upset every day that your child is eating cookies. Instead of being upset with them, disciplining them to think yourself, how can I create the conditions in my house so that my child would not eat cookies? And then perhaps you take all the cookies out of the house. Here the focus is less on blaming the kids, rather on us taking the responsibility, being the instruments to change, to create the environment such that your child is not allowed to eat cookies. This is a classic example. Let us create an environment where your child will not get opportunity to do misalignment. The main reason our children are confused because our boundaries are constantly changing and we are confused about them. We are wishy-washy about them. This confusion inevitably leads to resistance in our children and they begin to manipulate boundaries. Many times we send mixed messages to our children. I'll give you one more classic example where we confuse our children with our boundaries or rules. When we are busy, we offer the mobile or ask them to watch TV. But the moment we decided that that is enough, we try to take it away from them. These kinds of boundaries confuse our children because they are not clear guidelines. We always act arbitrarily to our whims and fancies of ourselves. Children retaliate and rebel. It ultimately boils down to our hypocrisy. Children will lose the trust in our abilities. You can't set a boundary that you don't have in your own life. In essence, conscious boundaries are something we consciously choose to live. We parents cultivate the skill to create compassionate, consistent boundaries, then the entire need for discipline falls in wayside. The tone of the conversation between the child and parent changes. It's no longer dictator. It's a deep understanding and desire to connect with each other. Mastering the art of setting boundaries is the task of parents who need to undertake. It's a path towards a greater harmony. There are two kinds of boundaries. Life-enhancing boundaries truly help our children to cope with life. They strengthen their resilience. These boundaries help the children well all-round citizens of the world. The boundaries are around their hygiene, sense of connection, community, literacy, sleeping, and going to school. You know, these things are true for our children's best interest. On the other hand, ego-enhancing boundaries are optional. They are not only true for core, like learning instruments. Let us give chance to children to select the optional boundaries and let us motivate, have dialogue, have negotiation with children to stick to life enhancing boundaries so that they strengthen their resilience. They would be most useful citizens to the world. They'll become self-learners, independent thinkers. They take care of the entire society. The second part I would like to talk about is how you need to shift as a parent from control and commander to coach and guide. I would like to encourage you to participate in this discussion. This is very much important. We need to really act like a guide and coach to your child rather than a control commander or dictator. I understand change is never easy, but it's not difficult. It is worth shift your energies for the greater good of your children. We wanted to be in the supreme control of our children because we think that it's a sacred obligation to have a control. We maniacally desire to control our child in the guise of caring. Our children don't need a parent, rather they need deeply connected spiritual guides, a mentor that allows them to discover who they are without pushing them in a certain way. The parent is a caregiver, not a commander in chief. Surely the parent is in charge of safety and security and overall well-being of the child. We should take care of our children from bad practices, bad shadows of their peers. It does not mean that you will become a dictator or super controller of the child. See yourselves as a co-creator of the condition, leaving the children to have their ultimate last word in their own destiny. Begin to see different energetic chances of both caregiver and commander. When you are commander, you are very much invested and exhausted about the outcome. Unknowingly, you put pressure on the child and expect the child to outperform as per your expectations. We even force them to believe in things which you believe in, how they conduct themselves, how they show up themselves. Let us shift how a caregiver has a different energy. Being a caregiver allows us to be in the role of guide, but shifts energy from control tone to being a coach and friend. We do so without an attachment, detached from the outcome of our children will be in the future. The spiritual guide really empowers the children to make conscious choices for themselves. It demands the parents to release control, to know, manage, engineer, contour, and allow children to discover their own voice rather than demanding them, controlling them. You give a choice to a child, but guide them, coach them, give multiple options that will enable them to discover themselves, to connect to their inner voice. That is ultimate success as a parent you can give to the child. We always want to control our children from making mistakes, and we wanted to make sure that they do not fail. Science has shown that the most tremendous grit and resilience don't come from a lack of failure. It doesn't come from perfection. Grit and resilience come from a different kind of relationship to failure. When we allow them to fail once in a while, they develop grit attitude towards failure. They learn to embrace failure as an inevitable power. I would like you to reflect and examine the areas of conflict between you and your children. Have a negotiation with your child. What does the child want? What do you want as a parent? Who needs to release the agenda? You are controlling due to deep care, love, and compassion. With this mindset, you are not identifying the child's inner feelings and innate thoughts. When you don't have this open mind to give a chance to your child will not have an option to share with you. Rather, he'll find other beings, other his peers to share his feeling. That may not be right. You are not giving an opportunity as a coach and guide. Give as an opportunity coach and guide. Come up with strategies to have a discussion and negotiations so that both of you find ways and means to find the child potential. However, you talk about your fears and express your concerns and release the control. We need to shift the energy from control of being a coach and guide. A spiritual guide empowers children to make conscious choices from themselves. Totally, today I spoke about two important things: moving the shift from disciplinarian to co-creator of boundaries, and moving a shift from commander-in-chief to coach and guide. Coming webinars, we will discuss many more things. Thank you very much for joining us and giving me an opportunity to speak to you. Thank you. I would like to request Lalita ma'am to take over and proceed further.
I think it is very, very important for all of us as parents to understand that times have changed, and what was the traditional way of being a disciplinarian to now having your conscious parenting, whereby you have kind of essential agreements with the children on how, what should be their future, rather than imposing on them some kind of practices. It is very important that we discuss, we deliberate, and this, I can assure you, parents, will be a wonderful way of dealing with your children. Now, without much ado, I would like to introduce Ms. Sonal Andrews. Ms. Sonal, is an educationist. She's a director of IPTA, an institute which trains teachers, and she, believe me, trains one of the best lot of teachers in the city. And she has been a passionate educationist, and more than anything else, she is a person who promotes happiness. She is happy all the time, and she wants everybody to be happy too. Over to you, Sonal ma'am, and without further delay, because your speech is going to be the highlight of today.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It's my pleasure to be among the August gathering here. First of all, I wish everyone a wonderful Father's Day, the unsung hero of our life, who hardly gets noticed. You know, I always have fought with Hindi language that for mother, there's a beautiful word, mamta. Mother's love is called mamta, but there's no word for fatherly love. So I've always thought that we should come up with some word called bapta or pita, something. You know, we should give it to our Hindi pundits for this, because I think they are the ones who lay the foundation. And today I'm so happy that Mr. Rama Naidu started and laid the foundation for me to speak further. So thank you, sir. It was really a wonderful note that you gave to all of us together. Thank you, Lalita ma'am, for having me on the platform. Thank you, Rockwood, for remembering me. And it was my pleasure to visit your school. And I'm really impressed with the vision you have. So let's talk about what are we going to be doing today and talking about. Till yesterday in the sense, before this black swan situation arrived on us, I remember in month of beginning, first, second week of March, we all believed it's all media hype and nothing like that would happen. And we ridiculed and laughed at all this. And here we are, dealing with the situation without knowing what future holds for us. And that's exactly what revolution educators have come up with. And we have dealt with it amazingly efficiently and with the attitude of evolving, along with parents and children. A lot of people ask me that, do you think children enjoy these kind of classes? For me, it is very, very simple. Children are born with unlimited potential and absolute no hassle in life. It's us adults who create all this ideology and methodologies and pedagogies. Children will have fun if the approach is correct. Finish, full stop. Whatever, whoever is in front of them, they are ready to evolve. I'll give you a small example, dear parents. When the child is born, it's on its back. And then, do you give them tuition, or do you give them a star, or do you say, very good, now turn on your stomach? We don't. The child just does. And suddenly one fine day, child is also crawling and trying to stumble and stand. Now this evolving is called a human nature. This evolving is a second nature to human. That's what makes us human. So my child is interested in studying, interested in learning. provided he's been given beautifully and easily. So that is what we are going to be talking about today, that how do we make their lives simple and how do we work it out for them so that they find it easy to learn. Now, if you ever think about a teacher, the first word comes to you is teacher is somebody who imparts knowledge. I would go with sir here and I would say teacher just doesn't impart knowledge, because nowadays even Google imparts knowledge. So, I mean, really, is it only the teacher who's imparting knowledge? No. But teacher is definitely really, really needed in my life, because teacher is the one who creates an environment where learning takes place. Teacher is somebody who is spiritually charged. Spiritually, as sir mentioned, not somebody who is religiously spiritual, but somebody who knows from right and wrong, who is selfless, who is doing for this tiny human being. Now, this is really important for us to remember. I come to a synonym word, which is a parent. Before I go any further, let me bring your attention to one fact. There are only 2 roles for which there is no manual written. Okay, if you're a doctor, there's a manual written, lots of books are written. These are the symptoms, these are the tests you will do, this is the diagnosis, and this might be the, the curing pattern. If you're an engineer, this is a machine, this is how it is constructed. If it goes bad, this is what you do, troubleshoot. But teacher and parent, no manual written. Because we are 2 individuals who deal with uniqueness of human nature. As a parent, as a teacher, I'm unique. And the child that I have, every child in my classroom is unique. And that is why there is no manual written here. And that's why I think teacher and parent are very synonymous. What I'm teaching in school, I'm a teacher. What I'm teaching at home, I'm a parent. For me, it's that simple. Right now, today, what we are going to be looking at is, in this scenario, how do we raise our child? And I'm very, very clear about the term I'm using, our child. It's no more your child or my child, it's our child. It's a very famous phrase that it takes a village to raise a child. And today, when we have been isolated through social distancing, because of the fear of COVID-19, how do we bring the village to our aid? Surprise, surprise, the technology is going to help us. So child is our focus, and in the focus, the question comes to us, is it fair to have screen time? I mean, till yesterday we were grumbling about, eyes will go bad, brain will go bad, why screen time? So my dear parents, let me tell you, WHO and this gentleman has come up with an answer for all of us and educated us very beautifully. He's not Amitabh Bachchan, neither he's Tom Cruise, but today in education field, we need to know him, and he is a neuroscientist, cognitive neuroscientist, Mr. Michael Posner. Michael Posner has researched about 4 things: screen time, attention, childhood, and education. Now, these are 4 topics that we all need to talk about, isn't it? As a parent, my worry that my child's brain is going to be harmed if I keep him in front of the screen is answered by Michael Posner. He says it doesn't matter what is child learning, how much time child is in front of the screen. What matters is the content that he's receiving. If he's watching a cartoon or a movie, there's a lot of movement, there's a lot of music, there are a lot of colors. But when teacher is teaching virtually, this thing is taken care. The child's brain is not sensory overloaded, so do not worry at all. It is scientific to allow your child to be with the teacher in the virtual class. So when that is taken care, let's look at what we do in normal schooling, normal classroom. What is our agenda? How do we do our normal schooling? What objectives do we, take care of? Along with language, that is English or the second and the third language, maths, science. Along with that, school also takes care of the agenda that you can see right now. SPICE development. SPICE here, I mean social, physical, intellectual, communicational, and emotional development. It is school's curriculum's responsibility to do the activity around this area so that it's a wholesome development. The readiness of the child, readiness of reading, writing, speaking, counting, moving to the next grade, facing the world, taking up a profession. That's the readiness that school is supposed to be taking care. Self-esteem development in the child, life skill development of the child, and future foundation for the child, along with 21st century skills that we talk about. No more I prepare child in my school for them to be a lawyer or a doctor or an engineer, because I don't know whether 20 years from now those professions will be there. I prepare my children to learn, to do critical thinking. I make them thinkers, that any job you give it to me, I'll think, I'll innovate, I'll be creative, and I'll take care of myself. I'll earn for my country, my society, my family, and I'll be a responsible citizen. Communication is the essence of today. The way you communicate and take your thoughts forward, you're celebrated for that. Collaborate. How open-minded are you? What kind of a team leader along with team player you are? Are you flexible? These are the USPs of today's youth. Is school preparing us for that? And finally, character building. Now, if this is what the scene is, these are the objectives that I look in my classroom. What happens in my virtual classroom? Can I do them? So every teacher has modified her content that she was delivering till yesterday, and she has made sure that SPICE development, readiness, self-esteem, life skill, and future foundation is part of even the curriculum that is virtually deliverable. And that is a celebration. But can we do this without your help? No, my dear parents. Earlier, you needed to pay fee, leave your child to the school or leave it to the bus stop, and we teachers would take care. Now, we need you to join our hands to be able to deliver all this for our child, because this is closest to face that I can have the baby. I want you to keep your gadget well charged, keep the videos on, let them attend on time. Regularity is essential. The child will understand how much you respect the school, how much you respect the teacher, and they will imitate you. The regularity is important over here. It's really, really important that we are going to make sure that there's healthy screen time for every child. We are not going to harm their brain. We are going to evolve their brain with your help. When we expect, we give a time slot, please respect it, coordinate with our teacher and work with it. We are the ones who are going to channelize their energy. Have you found that your little babies become very cranky, irritable? Your teenager, preteens are throwing a tantrum. They don't want to on the camera. They don't want to attend the online class. That's normal. Don't worry about it. As a teacher, we want to really help, provided you are in partnership with us. Friends, this is a golden period of life. This 6 months cannot be edited or erased from child's learning life. I need to take care of them. And as a school, we want to come forward and help you. Let's count our blessing that we are blessed to have a gadget to reach out to a teacher. A teacher is blessed to be able to deliver to us. They are working really hard. At the same time, as a parent, what do we expect? You are our partners right now. You are our co-educators right now. We want you to play with your child in the spare time. Academic, leave it to us. Help them with the resources. If we have sent you some PDF links or worksheet, kindly make sure that child is having those. If you can't print, no problem. Just, draw it up. It's okay. But play enough with our children. Play doesn't mean only, the outdoor games. Even the indoor games are really, really important to play with child. That will teach them a lot of life skill, which we as a teacher would do at school. Now that is a little job that we would offer you to do for us. More you play, the attention span will increase, the bond, the social skill and emotional skill will increase. Thank you. Thank you for raising hand. It makes it really interesting if you are going to react. Thank you. I'm not going to read out everybody's name, but it makes a difference to me if you are going to be interacting with me. Have a routine, friends. It's really important, as Naidu sir said, it's important to have a discipline. in child's life, and they will imitate the parent for that. Have a fixed time to get up, fixed time to have breakfast, fixed time to have lunch, fixed time for everything, and see how beautifully their brain works. Their brain doesn't want to learn because it's tired of watching too many movies, too many cartoons, playing too many video games. The brain has not had enough sleep. Make sure, now that is what we depend on you for. Give your child enough sleep. The brain needs rest so that it's ready to absorb from the environment. The next one that I want you to look at is give them opportunity to speak. If there's an obstacle, it's okay. There's no problem. If there's a technical glitch, don't blame anybody. It's okay. You know, life is not going to finish. But teach your child to walk over it. Teach them that whatever you go through, I'm there for you. Now, that's the mindset that I want you as a parent to have. It's really important. Our children have to face the worst when we are around so that they're ready for the world. I think that's the readiness that I'm talking about here. I hope I'm making sense to you. You know, when child learns to walk, he stumbles. And when he falls down, he looks around. If mommy is there and mommy does, the child cries. But if mommy doesn't do, and mommy says, it's okay, the child does this and gets up and starts walking. Now that's our job as a parent. Allow them to face their opportunities and obstacles. Don't overprotect them. Rather benign negligence. Neglect a little bit. Harmless, benign, harmless. Let them do self-sufficient. Let them be self-initiated. As Naidu so very beautifully mentioned that we are making our children so dependent on us. Let them begin something on their own. Allow them to have obstacles in their life and resolve them. The next one that I want you to look at is value their existence. Not because they are pretty, not because they got medal, not because they got A grade, because they are there in your life. Just thank God that you have your babies. There are so many millions of parents who are struggling to have babies. Just be thankful that you have a baby. Now, if that baby is not good in math, think about you. How are you in math? So relax. It's okay. They are going to become better. But value who they are, respect them and love them for who they are. In psychology, we say very beautifully that a child deserves a hug when he doesn't deserve one. And that's what I want to repeat again. A child deserves a hug when he doesn't deserve one. You don't need to say, I love you every day. You don't need to provide more than anything every day. I want you to tell your child every day, I'm there for you. Whether you win or you lose, I'm there for you. I'll be happy, you're happy. It's as simple as that, my dear friends. Value their existence. The next one I want you to look at is inspire. Being a parent, it's really important to inspire your children. A lot of time my mother-in-law tells my daughter, you're just like your mother. Not that I have tuitioned her, but it's very, very natural for the child to pick up how the parents speak, how the parents' habits are, how to behave like the father or the mother. Are you the one that your child can imitate? Are you the one who has created environment at home that learning is fun for the child and not the torture for the child? Are you an interview parent? Did you eat? Did you do homework? Did you do this? Or are you a parent who's talking, who's easy? A child can come to you and tell anything in the world, and you will not judge your child. You will be there for your child. Do you inspire your children? The next one that I want to talk about is dolphin parenting. To add to what Naidu sir said about autocratic parent there's a democratic parent, there's a negligent parent, or there is a don't care attitude parent. We have all these permissive parent, all these 4 types of parenting. I'm talking about dolphin parenting. A parenting where there's a lot of dialogue, there's a lot of compliment. Compliment doesn't mean I like you, you like me. No, means helping each other, combining our strength and moving ahead in life. Now, dolphin parent is a parent who's with the child in the journey, who teaches by example. Are you that parent? Are you a parent who allows child to be who they are and evolve them to become who they want to become? the second last point that I want to make, do you have empathy and are you putting effort in being with a child? Are you there in their day-to-day life? I don't want you to simply provide. Be very careful. I don't want you to be simply giving them clothes and food and shelter. I want you to give them a reason to smile. And you smile looking at them without any reason. Now, according to me, that is empathy. For whatever little effort they are putting, inspire them to do a next level. Their comparison, their competition is them own. Are you putting that kind of effort with your child to work with them? And finally, are you responsible parent? There's no license given the day you become a parent. But have you earned that license? Does your child come end of the day and say, I missed you, Dada. I missed you, Mummy. Now this is what you have earned. Allow them to come to you to say, I don't understand this. Instead of going behind and saying, come, 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 come. Now this is exactly, we need your partnership here. You trust the school. You are trusting the teacher. I want you to trust your own child. I want you to trust your parenting, that what you're doing is enough, and every day increase that enough to a little bit more by becoming a provider. And this is what I mean. Parents are the provider, not only of the physical thing, but emotional, social, intellectual thing. And we need your partnership as school, as educator, very, very much in this situation where children are spending 24 hours with you. So I hope, Lalita ma'am, I have answered your question that how we want them to become our co-partners, co-educators here by being a provider and giving a platform to my baby to be,
Absolutely.
learning ready.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Sonal ma'am. I think, each time I hear you speak, there is something new I learn all the time.
Thank you, ma'am.
And we will move on to the next speaker, and that is Mr. Subramaniam, who is the director of Rockwoods International. And he is a tech whiz, I should say, a person who has been responsible for all the enhancement of technological learning in Rockwoods today. Anything, we are all there all the time to understand more from him on different technological tools that are available. And he will share with us the different types of tools that are there for virtual learning, which will enable and enhance learning in a virtual environment. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Lalita ma'am, for those words. Thank you, Sonal ma'am. It was very exciting. I would have loved to listen more. Talking about use of technology in parenting. In our group of schools, as many of parents already know, we are using Google Classroom Community. With this, it is going to be a lot easier for any parent to understand what is happening in your child classroom. And accordingly, you can try mentoring and helping your child. And it is also very easy for you now to understand what kind of feedback your child teacher is giving on day-to-day basis. It's a lot easier. Earlier, it was more difficult where you have to come to school. Now it is available on fingertips. Not only Google Classroom Community, we also have educational apps like Oxford Advantage, ClassClap, Khan Academy, which are really helping children based on their learning patterns. It enables adaptive learning. As a parent, encouraging children to use these apps occasionally would do a lot good to child's learning. Lastly, I would like to talk about screen time. As a parent, I'm sure most of you are really worried about screen time. There are two kinds of screen times that we have. One is passive screen time, where most of the time child is spending looking at the screen, where there is no cognitive or physical engagement in the process of device usage. Examples: playing a lot of games repeatedly again and again, using social media like Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp, and all that, and watching YouTube videos, especially with autoplay on for longer duration. These are different ways how child may be spending in front of the screen, but they are not really going to help a lot to the child's cognitive development. On the contrary, on the other side, in case of active screen time, where it is going to engage child in having cognitive development or in some form of physical engagement. Examples: attending online classes, playing educational games, even editing pictures, videos, coding online, they're all going to help child's learning a lot. And also making child to practice letters, spellings, and numbers, all those going to do a lot of good to children. Making videos, if it is going to help cognitive development, I think it is going to help as well. At the end of the day, for all of us, our task as a parent is we need to create positive and active screen time for our children. And in case if you need any help, don't hesitate to reach out to us, to our PRMs, teachers, and even school leaders. Any questions? Kindly go ahead and put it in the chat window. We will definitely discuss during Q&A. That would be all from my end. Thank you very much. Over to Lalita ma'am.
Yeah. Subhi, let me speak about Lalita ma'am for a minute. Yeah. Teaching is very scientific process and it is an art. Miss Lalita Naidu, who had joined us as the principal, is in education with immense experience, who has been heading schools for a quarter century. She is an expert in translating educational theories into meaningful practices. She is a master of philosophy in education and has a clear purpose of ensuring that children learn joyfully and meaningfully. I request Lalita ma'am to start our presentation.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. That was very kind of you. Dear parents, I will be talking to you about what is virtual learning. See, these are all new terminologies which you all are coming across. Virtual learning has been in existence for many, many years. And we find that, it was there mainly for higher education, and it was also there in countries like the Scandinavian countries, where 6 months in a year, the students cannot go to school because of heavy snowing that they have. So during that time, these schools were having virtual learning platforms. So for us, as Naidu sir and Subhi sir and Sonal ma'am have given earlier, it is, something very new. With the COVID-19 pandemic, you will find that we are thrown with this opportunity. I don't say that this is a hindrance or this is a botheration for us. Rather, we should take this as an opportunity for us, because children's learning will definitely be enhanced in a virtual learning environment. Now, what is this virtual learning environment? Virtual learning environment is a learning experience which helps to utilize computers and other devices and the softwares that are available for enhancing a student's learning. Now, this you will find that offers a very immersive learning experience. Why immersive learning experience? Because in the process of teaching and learning, sometimes you will find that in an actual environment to a virtual environment, you will find that, yes, in an actual environment, there is socializing, there is a lot of bonding which happens between the peers and between the teacher and the student. But what we are trying to do in our school is we are trying to bring about a blended learning scenario. Okay, so you will find that, yes, first of all, why virtual learning and how does it actually benefit us? Now you'll find that learning and the outcomes become almost, immediate. Like if you are teaching something, you conduct a small quiz. With that quiz, you are getting the result immediately. You're not giving a paper pen test where the teacher has taken back and correct it. Then and there, you're getting a result. Okay, in my class of 25 students, okay, there are 10 students who have picked it up, but there are 15 students who still need help. So what is my responsibility as a teacher? I will reteach. I will hold a remedial. I will do something to ensure that these students also come up to the level of other students. So this is one of the biggest benefits. Assessment and immediate feedback and immediate remedial is something that can happen with a flow in the virtual learning environment. And this also gives the teacher a scope to understand and monitor on a regular basis. Okay, so now let me go to give you what are we doing? Okay, we are not having only a virtual learning environment. We are not creating videos and sending it to you all and telling your children to view it and learn it by themselves. No, because we find that, yes, we need to give children the importance of being with their peers, with their teachers, and learn in an environment which is close to actual environment, but in a virtual situation. This we call as blended learning, where there is an integration of face-to-face learning between the student and the teacher, combined with online learning experiences. So it's a blend of both, and student will definitely find it very close to the actual learning environment. Okay, then there are, various other benefits. If we just look at this, it's a learning environment which combines the best of online resources and face-to-face learning to enhance students' knowledge. So student is getting the best of both. On one hand, he or she is getting the opportunity to interact with the teacher, with the peers, and on the other hand, best of resources. Now today, if you see the resources that are available online, and Sonal ma'am has been very categoric to say that if it's only knowledge, you'll get plenty of knowledge. Knowledge is available everywhere. But how do you leverage that knowledge to get the best of both worlds is what blended learning is all about. Now, let me just move on to, this is what blended learning is all about. Face-to-face learning and online learning experiences gives the integration or the best, what I should say, the collaboration or the, bringing together of best of both the worlds. Okay, now what are the advantages of blended learning? There are students with different learning styles. We all know that. Like all classes, are generally heterogeneous, which means there are students of different ability levels and different learning styles. Okay, some are kinesthetic learners, some are, visual learners. Okay, some are good listeners and they learn through listening also. So you will find that in a virtual learning environment, the teacher is creating situations where, the student learns at their pace and in the learning style that is most suitable for them. Okay, it also transforms the learning by engaging students meaningfully. Yeah, I remember, initially when we started off with the online classes, there were various opinions that came. There were some parents who came and approached me and said, ma'am, it's not good to have screen time. I said, yes, probably it's not good. But tell me one thing, if I do not engage your children in the learning environment, what is your child going to do? What is your child going to do? Probably watch TV or play a video game, isn't it? So anyway, the child does not have an opportunity to go out and play. Okay, so the child is definitely in front of some gadget and having a screen time. So why not utilize it for making or engaging students meaningfully? And this we feel is absolutely essential. And we have been very conscious to say that how much of screen time are we giving? We are definitely not giving our pre-primary and the primary students as much screen time or as much, virtual learning as we are giving to the senior classes. So it has been a gradual increase from just an hour to, maybe 3.5 to 4 hours. But that has been done very, very scientifically, I should say. Now, what can schools do in a virtual learning environment? Practically everything. You will find that teachers, in fact, I was telling somebody, that when, most of the offices, there was a lockdown of the entire countries in the world, the only people other than the doctors, the frontline workers, and others who worked incessantly, I should say that the people who have worked as much are the teachers. Okay, our teachers are definitely not adept at handling technology, but they have learned. They have learned to handle technology, and they have learned very beautifully. Today, most of the teachers are extremely good with technology. And this is again a learning experience for them also. Now, videos are available, to the extent. What else is there virtually? There are virtual libraries. Libraries across the world have opened up their doors in a virtual scenario, giving an opportunity for people to view books, to read books. There are virtual field trips. Now, if I wanted to take students to the National Park of Kenya to see the wildlife over there, now just imagine I would probably have to plan an excursion and take them over there. But today it is available in a virtual environment. Deep sea, you can go, if you go to Google Earth, you can take them anywhere. If I have to take them to visit the peak of Mount Everest, I can do that. To see the volcanic mountains of Kilimanjaro, I can do that. To see the deep sea waters of Pacific Ocean, Indian Ocean, I can do that with just the click of the button. Okay, so the virtual environment is thrown so many things open for us. Virtual labs. Now, I remember, when we were young, if we had to do, if you had to learn about, the heart or the digestive system or, anything else, a poor frog was caught and put with the pins, given chloroform, and we used to see all that. But today it's not like that. Everything is in the virtual environment. Okay, you can see to the extent of heart operations, open heart surgeries, and others. Everything, is available for us in the virtual labs, virtual environments. Okay, so you can go to any place in the universe for that matter. So it is so beautiful. The virtual learning environments have opened the whole world to us. And we should thank people who are doing this. And they, I should say, are, the most noblest of the lot, who have thrown open the entire world and the entire world of knowledge to all of us. That's the beauty of the learning that is happening. So there isn't a place on earth which we are not able to visit. Okay, so I should say that the COVID-19 pandemic has got a silver lining too. We do understand the trauma which people are going through, the fear which people have. But so far as the learning environment and schools are concerned, when the whole world is under the lockdown, okay, the potential of schools, teachers, and students are unlocked through these various online resources, and learning perhaps is better and more profound than ever before. So, dear parents, please make complete use of this scenario. Okay, and please advise your friends and others that yes, virtual learning is perhaps the best solution in the current scenario. Thank you and have a fantastic evening. And we will now move on to the question answer session. We also miss our academic director, Ms. Lena Denzel, who has not been able to come over today because of some commitment. She could not make it here, but we would like you all to go ahead with your question answer session and let us know to whom you would like to be the person to answer your question. Parents, you can put it in the chat box, your questions. And
if you have any questions, kindly please go ahead and ask us in the chat window, please. Let me see, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
I think there is one question from one of the parents. Primary
Yes,
kids
sir.
cannot do virtual labs and virtual activities independently. Parent support is necessary. Being working
Yes, sir.
people, we are facing challenges. So is there anything that can be done on that, ma'am?
Why not, sir? See, I'm not too sure which grade your child is in.
Grade 3, I think.
Yeah, grade 3.
But you will find that the PowerPoint presentations as well as the videos are being shared with you. Okay. We are also giving the notes and other things to enable you all to help you all in knowing what's happening. School has been sending, and we have very recently sent you a monthly log, which consists of what we are going to do for that month. We are also sending you weekly planners with the links that are there for the videos and others. You can always coordinate with your parent relations manager or with the class teachers, who will then give you what has to be done and how it has to be done. So it is just, a little bit of coordination and asking and collaboration, which will help you to take up the learning patterns with your children. Because if you're not probably able to join the class, you can always show that to your child during your free time. And as we are requesting you all are going to be the co-educators for us.
And there is one more question, ma'am.
Any more questions?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I think
2 kids.
Yeah.
2 kids are having classes,
yes,
sir.
Class.
Yes. Now that is certainly, big challenge, but I think your older child will attend the class with the teacher. And as I told you, the practice for the younger one can go, a little after the time in terms of, and for that you will need to put in a little more effort, sir.
Yes.
Or
And
maybe
from
if you can provide another device.
yeah,
Yes,
from
sir.
school end, maybe let us look at what is that we can accommodate so that timetable may be little convenient to the parent. We will take a
Maybe.
look at that, ma'am.
Yes.
Yeah. And there is
Yes.
one more question, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Primary kids are facing a lot of problems. Please give answers. Would that be
We
helpful,
will.
ma'am?
If that is going to help you all, we will certainly look at that.
Okay.
Parents, you ask and you get it, you shall get it. Okay. So don't worry about, these things. If there is a difficulty, please approach us. We'll help you with that.
Okay. And one of the parent is asking about recording of classes. I think this question I would like to answer, ma'am.
Sir, yes. Sir.
I think we are recording all the classes as of today. Until now, I think 800 classes are recorded. But we do have a challenge in having that located and sharing that with you. But I think we will be able to do that case by case. And if you are in need of having a recorded class, we will be definitely able to provide that.
I think
We will
maybe,
also,
yeah, Lalita, 1 minute.
sir.
I think let them approach PRM if they're really
Yes.
looking at any of the classes, so that we'll share the particular link to the particular parent. Instead of
Yes.
broadcasting to all the parents who have already attended, it's going to spam their WhatsApp
Yes,
or mail
yes.
messages. We'll do need base and case by case.
Yes.
And
Yes.
one more parent is asking about having problem. My child is having problem in Telugu and Hindi. When are
We
those
will be
classes
taking care of that. Yeah, we will be taking care of that. We just wanted to strengthen the foundations of, in English language. So we are having a voice and accent training. We are having creative writing. We are having, math puzzles and so on, which we gave as additional activities. But from the 1st of July, we will be starting the second languages also. So there is no issue like that.
Okay. And one parent is asking
Yes.
about pros and cons of using Zoom. I think,
Sir,
go ahead,
yeah.
ma'am.
Sir, you can, no, there has been a lot of deliberations of what, and we ourselves have done a lot of research on this. See, we are using only for an education purpose, and we do not have any data which is, kind of to be kept in secrecy or something like that. So as of now, we don't see any dangers of using Zoom. We are quite comfortable, and children are also comfortable using Zoom.
Yeah.
We have, of course, explored.
Yeah. To
Sir,
add to you,
please go
ma'am.
ahead.
So we are using licensed version of Zoom. Those are not free versions. So meaning there is a lot of security that is coming into play and all that. So every child who is attending the class and all that. So we know it and what is happening and how much time they are spending and when they are joining and all that. So they are very safe and secure, and that's where we have decided to use Zoom. I think there is one more question, more on the technology, ma'am. I think unable to upload videos in Google Classroom. I think there would have been here and there few cases where there would have been little trouble in uploading photos and videos. Typically, if we retry, I think it will be solved. But if it is not the case, kindly approach one of the school PRMs.
Parent relations,
yeah, we'll be able to sort that out.
Yes. So I think, Subhi sir, I'll just sum up today's sessions and hand it over to Naidu sir to have the last word for it. Okay, so today we have had 4 sessions in all. The first was of Naidu sir, where he talked about, from moving from traditional parenting to conscious parenting, where he said that, move from being a disciplinarian to a co-creator of boundaries, move from yelling to mindfulness, okay, from control and dominance to being a guide and coach. And then we've had our Sonal ma'am, Sonal Andrews ma'am, who said that teachers create an environment for learning to take place. She talked about teachers and parents having no manuals for, how they function. That is because we deal with human resources and we have to all the time acquire what we call as situational leadership in dealing with various situations. She also talked about it takes a village to raise a child. And in this type of a scenario, the best way to get a village to a child is through virtual environment. She also talked about the 21st century skills where critical thinking, responsibility, communication, collaboration, and character building is essential. Okay, she also urged parents to be co-educators to the child and to help children in this difficult scenario, to guide them and to be with them and ensure that their learning goes uninterrupted. We also had Subi sir, who spoke about the entire technological advancement which Rockwood School is using, the various platforms that we are using, and how it has enabled us to make our learning very smooth and almost without any difficulty, we are able to do this. Okay, we also talked about virtual learning and how virtual learning opens the doors of the entire world for us. Right? Thank you very much, parents, for being a part of this. Thank you, Sonal ma'am, but don't leave just now. The last word is that of our chairman, Mr. Raman Naidu, sir. Over to you, sir.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Sonal ma'am, Lalita ma'am, and Subbi, and parents, for your incredible and fantastic message. Rockwood's skilled our resources to enable the students to move from compliance to engagement and then to empowerment. Our empowered classrooms enabled us to shift from giving choices to exciting opportunities the team is working on, making the subject interesting into tapping students' interest. Teachers' language of communication with students transform from must learn to what you want to learn. We stimulate the students to take assessment to assess their learning and encourage them to ask questions through inquiry. We shall do personal learning using different tools and techniques to empower the students. All our students inculcate the habit of ownership for their education. We designed a new role, namely Parent Relationship Manager, for each grade to assist and support our parents and students to run online classes effectively. The work like a bridge between the parent and teacher. We share the contact number and name of the person to all the students. I'm confident we shall all pop out of this critical situation with resilience and rediscover ourselves. I wish you all the best. Thank you so much. I'm also really thankful to all the parents and all other partners who were involved in this webinar. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Sonal ma'am, once again.
Thank you. Thank you to all of you.
Sonal.
It was
Bye-bye.
really a
Bye-bye.
pleasure to share a platform.
Thank you. Bye.
All the
Thank you, ma'am.
best to all of us.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye all.
Thank you, Subi sir,
Thank you,
for
ma'am.
making this possible.
Thank you, ma'am. I'm closing the meeting.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.